All right. I think we'll go ahead and get started. Um, there might be some construction noise in the background here. I'm sorry if you hear any of that. I'll go ahead and keep going though. Um, First up in the COVID-19 section, um, we've been collecting all the student digital equity data. We're getting ready to submit that soon, I believe. Um, and we're kind of looking at the data that we are getting. Uh, this question's come up a few times. We will take any data that you have, even if someone hasn't filled out all the questions, um, or if you don't have the address worked out for the student, or if you're getting any of the validation errors, that's fine. We hope you can correct the data, get the data from the parents, but we will, we'll take whatever data you can give us at this time. Is there any other questions about like student digital equity or any of the other COVID data? I've got everyone muted, but you can unmute yourself or put something into the chat.
Hi, this is Terry Norris from Omaha Public Schools. I'm just curious if other people on campus have had a hard time getting their digital equity information to go up. We have ours populated and it's not going up, and I don't know if it's, I think they're working on it, but I didn't know if it was campus-wide or if it was just our district. I mean, if it was statewide or if it was just our district.
I'm not aware of that, but I see Rob and Michelle are on, so they could probably tell you more.
Yeah, hi, this is Michelle. It looks like we are only sending if all of the fields are populated. So we've escalated this to Infinite Campus, and they've, I believe they assigned an SIS to it, maybe
Okay.
just in the last couple days, so that they'll send, even if not all the fields are populated, they'll send whatever there is. So yeah,
Okay.
that's on us, and they'll be fixing that.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's our deadline though?
Really, for this first run, really as soon as possible.
Because
but
even if campus fixes it, we don't get it until we install a patch.
Yeah. I would say just get the patch as soon as you can and send it up. And I'm not exactly sure of when our hard due date is. So, as soon as you get the patch, just republish that part of your data, or republish your demographic data, basically.
Okay, thanks.
Max, this is Michelle again. Your NDE's deadline can influence the priority of this SIS at Infinite Campus. So if you could get us that information as soon as you know it, we'll get that information to our developers.
I think we're roughly, the deadline is like a week from today.
Okay, all right.
But again, we'll take the data we have. I assume that people that have the full set of data, that data is coming up.
Well, we don't have but in OPS, we don't have any of them with the full set of data. So
okay.
We have nothing coming up at this point.
Yeah, that date isn't necessarily set in stone either. So
Max, tell them it's set in stone. Leave it set in stone, okay? Because then they'll work on it.
Tell campus that, but but if we need to delay some stuff to make sure we get your big chunk of data in, that's definitely something we could talk about. Gene was asking if we have validation errors based on the data that the parents sent up. Do we have to question them again? I mean, ideally, yes, you would, but that isn't something you have to do, again, we'll use the data we have for now. Long term though, yeah, I would hope everyone eventually gets good data from their parents. Although I'm sure that's going to be difficult to do that 100%. All right, I'll move on. 2021 updates. So I had this last month. We still have a few processes that need to be activated that I'll probably do before the end of this month. We're getting the 2021 cohort to run, and then the course endorsements for teachers and the programs of study. We just need to get those set up and flip them on. As Cheryl was mentioning, that not all parents wanted to share this data as well, and yeah, there's not really much we can do about that. I don't believe there's any way you could really coerce them to send that to you. One thing in coming up, and we updated our collection calendar to give you the assessment roster dates. So basically, we're saying the roster data is due January 10th because our first poll is for ELPA on the 11th. You can see the dates here. It's kind of second to third week of January. I believe we will be doing multiple polls again of the NWAA rosters. We were doing that weekly, I think, for several, like 8 weeks, something last year. Jill, if you correct me if I'm way off on that. So one
Pretty
thing
sure you're correct on that, Max.
Okay. The VST, virtual support team, we talked about having more targeted work days. And
yeah,
so
hey Max, I'm here.
Hi, Amy.
So yes, the VST team has talked about having some targeted work days, and we know that sometimes looking at those rosters, or when you have issues with those rosters, there's a lot of questions. So right now, I know we are going to schedule a work day for January 8th, and it'll be virtual. At this point in time, no official presentation. We might do a quick walkthrough of just how to look at the data, what you're looking for, but it's pretty straightforward. So it's kind of show up when you need help, and we'll probably not wait another week or so before we put that out in the bulletin, and then we'll put it out again when school returns. We might do another one if there's a lot of interest. Let's see, the 8th is a Friday, so we might do another one that following Tuesday as well.
All right. Yep. So everyone.
Question for Amy: is that just for Power School districts only?
No, we'll open it up to the public.
Okay.
So it'll be for everybody. So like Michelle, I know you're on from CIC. So if that's something you just want to at least maybe have on your calendar, so if we need to reach out to you, we can.
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, most of the information with enrollment. So I'm pretty sure, it's usually correcting enrollment or FTEs or things of that nature.
Yep.
So
yeah, we'll be open to anyone, any of the vendors, anyone else on here. If you're interested, let us know. I assume you are probably signed up for our bulletins already, but if not, just contact me. I'll let you know how to get access to it. All right. I have now officially added our 2022 school year item to our list. Not everything is really set for this yet. What we do know is that we will be adopting Ed 5 version 3.4 next year. We are on 3.1 right now. There's no major differences that we're aware of at this time. There's just a lot of back-end stuff. It's not as big of a upgrade as we had to do a year ago. But we are still in the process of getting that set up, so we will let the vendors know more as we get there. As part of this upgrade, we're also setting up new servers to host the 3.4 Ed5 API. So we're working on getting those set up now. There will be probably a couple of data element changes, but we are just starting to discuss those now. Hopefully in January or February, we'll kind of have those in place. We'll talk about them at this meeting. So yeah, Cheryl was asking about the rosters. There's nothing special we have to do. Nope. Basically, you just need to make sure your kids are enrolled and are in their classes correctly. And then we will pull the data from there, Cheryl. That was for the rostering, I mean. So one discussion item we did want to have here in regards to next year. So this fall, it was pretty stressful with the 1920 changes that people were making in the follow-up window. There's a lot of SPED changes people were making right up until the end on October 31st. The issue is that we had to get everyone's final SPED counts to the federal Department of Ed. I think it was by November 4th. So we had to really just try to hammer through some late requests real quick at the end there. So we've kind of proposed, would it be possible to have the follow-up data due earlier than the regular fall data next year? So like one just picked up off the top of our heads, what if the follow-up data is due September 15th and then locked on October 1st? Then between October 1st, basically in the month of October, we could handle any late requests or cohort changes and get that data integrated into the prior year year-end snapshot. And then that gives you the time to just keep working on your fall data that would still be due October 15th like normal. I guess one of the big questions is, how does that timing work for what you're doing in September, especially with your vendor? Some vendors kind of have to work with you to set up things manually when you're submitting prior year data. Others, though, it's available to you. And really, when you're submitting the prior year data, we could really take that data anytime. It's really all summer, July, August, September, anytime you could be submitting your data that was from the previous year.
Hey, Max.
So, yep.
Hey, this is Anna, EDC3. I totally get what you guys are fighting there. So essentially, if we went with this model, if you found something after October 1st, like let's say a district claimed a kid that you had said was dropped out, and so now you got to change that exit code on that SPED kid and so on and so forth, you could still do that, but you'd have to fill out the request to change data form.
Yep.
As long as it was in October.
Or the cohort form in that case. I think.
Right, yeah, the cohort form. So, okay, so that's just what I was curious about. And the other idea I had was, would it help? I know these kids don't always show up in errors, but a lot of times they do. If those errors could be, I don't know, categorized separately with a higher priority, so districts know, hey, I need to chase these first. I don't know. When it's errors that deal with prior year enrollment or exit codes, I don't know if there's a way.
Yeah.
If there's some,
Yeah,
I know
'cause
it won't
it-
catch all of them, but it might help people chase the ones they need to first in September.
We could, yeah, recategorize them to at least get them into two groups, because basically in the fall, like next fall, you will be looking at both your 2021 errors, and then next fall when you're looking at 21, 22, you know, we always have, I think we have like 5 or 6 errors that look at last year's data and say, hey, these are the kids that are missing this year. Which, you know, technically could be fixed maybe in the new year, but then we've seen a lot of, you know, people get this thing that says, hey, you had a sped child last year who's not here this year, and then they go, oh wait, no, we should have exited them last year. So yeah, we can definitely, when you're at least those errors in the new year that are looking back at last year, we can dump all those into a category for sure. So everyone knows to look at those, and we'll hopefully get those turned on, you know, in August, basically.
Matt,
We wouldn't be able to turn them on before August.
Yeah,
Yeah, go
this is Leah at Papillion Vista, and I think we're willing to entertain the idea. I think I need to go back to our vendor and at least have, you know, a discussion and talk with our team about timelines and how that might look before I can just, you know, say amen today.
Yeah, I would encourage you to do that.
Sure.
Hey, Max, this is Amy. So I think one of the concerns I have is, you know, a lot of times there's sometimes delays in getting kids exited. Would there be any additional training or communication done from NDE's SPED department that would help maybe, for lack of a better word, motivate or make this deadline more clear, that it's a little bit more important, you know, or, you know,
Yeah.
is SRS, are they able to even just put some reports together or things out there that can just help facilitate this a little bit?
I mean, we can definitely put the communication out. I'm not exactly sure what other reports might be needed that could help.
Yeah, I think I'm following up with Amy there. My biggest concern is the special education department. Getting that timely done, that's usually where the issue is. And like this year, we had a lot higher transfer out due to COVID and going to non-public or homeschooling, and getting back information about homeschooling takes a while. So we kind of have to keep them on our records and so it's kind of a mesh between last year's and this year's data. And so I'm a little concerned with the dates, but I understand completely where you guys are coming from. But I think special education department really needs to know that this change is coming ahead of time so that they can prepare and be ready for it as well, because they're the ones that are having to enter the data in the SISs that are sending the data to you guys.
Well, it might not be necessarily new reports, but just getting them in the habit of looking at monthly or bi-weekly reports to make sure that their data is, you know,
Yeah, and we could really
current
start.
and updated.
We could start the communication for this probably in May, I would say,
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
I think we were also seeing a lot of people still just catching up on data that they could have, you know, set in May or June. But
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not uncommon that we get, for some reason, the data steward finds out about a kid that exited in like January or March, and they don't know
Well,
until September.
Keep in mind, this year was way different. We had people making
Right.
homeschooling decisions in August, so we did not
Right.
know last May that we.
Yeah.
But
coming back.
And-
And
Right.
an NDE's homeschool list getting out the sooner the better will also
Yep.
help this.
Agreed.
Yeah, we had an awful lot of delay on the homeschool stuff too. If there was a way to make that situation better where we could know who's actually being homeschooled a lot sooner than October, that would help.
Yeah,
tremendously.
that
And I
was-
know that they're working hard to do it. I honestly get the situation they were in, so.
But
Yeah, it
if
went
they
up
could at
like-
least put the list out that they have an app, that helps to know that the parent has at least followed through with submitting the paperwork
Yeah.
sooner.
Yeah, we had the same dilemma, and there were so many that our secretaries weren't sure what to do with them. Teachers didn't want to see them in attendance, but we still had them because we didn't have the official word they were being homeschooled. It was just kind of messy. Thank you.
We still, and this is Suzanne from Columbus, we still have some that are pending, and they put their app in August 5th, August 26th, and they're still pending. So what are we supposed to do with those kids?
I am not sure if they still have an active backlog or if that means there's some issue with those.
Yeah, some of them, it's a matter of they don't have all the necessary forms in from the family, and they do have a backlog. I mean, it's the same number of people working on homeschool in the department, whereas we have, at least twice as many applications, which, yeah, so they're definitely backlogged.
Yeah, and where it made a big difference is here we had our October 1st counts and all of that. Well, guess what? There were still kids from the, August that were still on the rolls, but they weren't approved for homeschool, but they hadn't been, I don't know. But yeah, it was a real mess. But thanks for looking into it. Whoever
So-
does.
And it might help if we had some clear, and maybe it is clear, but if the district knew for certain, if the state has an app, are we okay to withdraw them, or is it you have to leave them on the rolls and report them to the county for 20 days because the state.
There is guidance on that.
This is Jenny from the help desk. In the Who Reports document on the last few pages, there's a couple of pages on different scenarios of homeschool applications. Like, is their application not complete? Is it complete in review? So there, check that Who Reports What, the last few pages. That will give
Okay.
you some guidance.
All right, thanks, Jenny.
If you don't find what you need, just put a ticket to the help desk and we will walk through it with you.
Max, this is Terry from OPS. I'm looking at those dates thinking it's kind of like we couldn't get it done by October 30th. So let's cut down on the time we're going to give them and give them even less. And that doesn't work very well. It's not like we put it off until then to work on. One thing that slowed us down this year that hopefully won't slow us down next year would be that our summer school went significantly longer, several weeks into July, whereas in the past it hasn't gone that far. So getting grads and special education grad information in is a little bit later, but everything can we do a compromise instead of saying 9:15 and 10:1? Can we say 10:1 and 10:15? I mean, I know you'll let us go later than that, but it's those messages come out to my supervisors, and they think then that I'm behind, and so I'm working at a deficit, even though it really isn't any different than in the past, according to what you're saying.
There's nothing special about those dates in particular. We just kind of picked them.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a possibility.
Okay.
And 9:15 is the day that state reporting or staff reporting is due too.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
So sometimes I do that too. So working on the SPED and working on the staff, it's going to kind of be like a conflict of which one gets priority.
Yeah, so if you stagger them and have it be 9:15 and then 10:1 and then 10:15, that kind of helps.
Of course, I think the audit window for the staff is 6 weeks versus 2 weeks. But
Right.
yeah, I
But-
get your point though. That at least gives you the target to shoot for, do staff, then follow up, then fall.
Yeah, because we have like 60 new staff members every year. So getting the old ones out and the new ones in, it takes a lot.
I think the same is kind of true for the whole month of September in students. We have late enrollments. It takes a while for records to move from one school to another. I don't know what my thought is, but sooner or shorter time period doesn't seem helpful to the schools.
All right. If anyone has any other comments, let me know. We'll probably follow up on this next month too. So if anyone wants to talk it out, come back in for the January meeting and we'll talk about it again. All right, I'm gonna move on. Visor validation, little updates, not too much. I don't think this has gone out yet, but we will be putting out a release. So we're going to change all the lookups, like the student lookup, the program lookup, the enrollment lookup. Make sure everything is pulling lock data when you're looking at old years. So 18, 19, 19, 20 will be pulling from the year-end lock data versus when you're looking at the current year, then you're always seeing live data.
I have not received any notification for the civil rights collection. Are we supposed to be looking for that? I've asked everybody in our district, is it all going to be pulled, or where are we at with that?
This is Leah from Papillion. I checked their website and they're not ready to go live yet. They haven't even released any reporting dates yet.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of panicked about it because I usually get something and I haven't gotten a thing. And so, okay, I won't worry about it yet then.
We just got a survey from them asking how long it takes us to fill out.
Did you?
And how much?
We did too. Everybody
I think
tell them
that's
it takes
a
at
lot.
least 80 hours.
Well,
I know
that's-
they were saying, well, it takes us longer than that. And they were saying like 17 total hours for the whole thing. I'm like, 60 schools, it doesn't take 17 hours.
Yeah. I haven't received that yet, but I'll ask around. But yeah, I may even inflate it a bit. Just let them know this is a pain.
Agreed.
Well, and for those, nobody took AP test last year, so I don't know how they're gonna, it doesn't make sense to me to even collect the data because half that report is AP test related.
Well, and that's true. That last year and this year both, I don't know it's so odd. I don't know what they're going to get from a lot of the data anyway.
Yep, we'll be looking for them to release that too. So that'll help make sure that our new report is actually matching what they have. Because at this point, we've basically built the report for the 2 year ago version, and we're hoping that it matches. So yeah, we're still holding off on that. But I still say it was November. We'll have those ready soon. Dashboard, I don't really have any updates. It is up and running. Down to vendor updates. I've been busy with a lot of stuff, so I'm saying probably into January now before I do all the vendor catch up, but we'll see how much time I get. So I'll schedule those meetings sometime soon. I didn't have any specific news from any of the vendors that I was aware of, but I know we've got several on the line here. So if any vendors have an update to share, go ahead.
This is Amy with Power School. At this point in time, there was a core update that's being pushed out. If you are a person who hosts your own server, there's some information about going through that update in regards to state releases. There was not anything advisor related in the November state release. We will see some things in the end of December, but they're really just kind of some minor fixes and things of that nature. But if you do run into any issues when it comes to advisor, I'm kind of your Power School advisor liaison, so please let me know, and those are things we can take to the developers.
Good to see you. Nice meeting you, ladies. Thank you.
Michelle, were there any other campus tickets that you're aware of?
Nothing major. We have a missing language code that we need to add in. That's the only other real new one that we have.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, Anna or Jeff from JMC, you guys have anything?
I'm
Also,
good.
Min is on too.
I'm
sorry.
good. I just so we're aware, I don't do JMC data. I don't think you meant that when you said it, Max, but I know Min asked me a JMC question the other day and I was like, I don't have a clue. So I don't know if I got on some list somewhere how, but
No updates from JMC.
All right. Yeah, things are running pretty smooth at this point in the year usually. So, okay, that's everything I had for today. Does anyone have anything else they wanted to bring up and discuss?
Well, I have an error out in advisor. This is Beatrice. It's about a student. It says the student's not enrolled in a course. Well, the student's really not starting until January 7th, and he's in a course as of that date. So I was surprised to get an error like that because he's not even enrolled yet, but he is in a course, but both of them have a January 7th enrollment and start date. So I didn't know why we'd be getting an error like that.
Is it, I'm wondering if it sent up the enrollment record, but not the course records for him yet.
Okay, and I'll check on that for sure. And I need to talk to Michelle about some of that when they put him in a new section in that. So anyway, okay, I'll check it then. Thank you, Max.
Yeah,
I tell our districts to ignore that till May.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Because you're gonna have kids, people gotta get them enrolled before they actually start. And it just happens.
Wow, you said that out loud. Ignore until May. I love it.
Well, that one error.
Just that one.
Definitely, though, we do take the course data anytime, even if it's future dated, we would accept it. But maybe there's like campus might, not send future course sections or something, I'm not sure.
I'll check.
So we may have to dig into it, but.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
Cheryl.
I like that. Ignore it. Maybe we need to put that in the who does what and just put the errors we can ignore.
Cheryl, this is Naomi. I have a ticket with you on that one. That course hasn't made it into advisor. So
Okay.
I don't know if it's an Infinite Campus thing or what.
Yeah, I need to talk to Michelle. There's some other kind of that. Okay. Thank you, Naomi.
Yep.
This isn't a SPED student we're talking about, is it?
Nope. Early childhood.
Alrighty. I think we'll call it for today. Next meeting would be January 13th. So we'll talk to everyone then.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good holiday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
See you next year.
See you next year, everyone.
Bye.